If you feel stuck, it doesn't have to be that way. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the 7 habits that I personally use to break free from homelessness and a life of failure and onto a life that I actually enjoy. You know, it doesn't get much darker than sitting over an overpass ready to end your own life. Yet that's exactly where I found myself after trying to break free from homelessness. You see, life does not have to be as difficult as we often make it. Fortunately for us, we can actually choose to have a brighter future. If you're going to get unstuck and actually take the time to transform every single area of your life and actually create a life that you actually love, one that you admire, one that you respect, and one that you want, then the first thing you've got to understand is it's an inside job first. Why is that important? Is because everything inside of you always comes out on the outside of you. So your choices become your actions and your actions become your results. So it all starts with you and it's influenced by your consistent habits. So I wanted you to consider these 7 habits as you look at building your own life and actually going from stuck to unstoppable, as we like to say. Yes, going from a place of not making progress to a place of consistently, always making progress. Now, these 7 habits help me transform my life literally to a life that I actually enjoy and want. I'm married to the woman of my dreams. I've got great kids. I've got a great profession, and I'm here to serve you now. So I'm convinced that if you'll follow these 7 habits yourself, that not only will you get the breakthrough that you're looking for, you'll also begin to make immediate traction and gain immediate momentum. Okay? Are you ready? Of course. Habit number 1 is to get clear. So much of life is all about actually pausing enough time and reflecting enough to understand how you got to where you are, where it is you want to go, and then begin to lay out the steps of how you're going to get there. Also, you also need to uncover maybe some of the professions that you haven't looked into. You know, are you a culinary artist? Do you like food? Do you like wine? Do you like movies? Do you like politics? Do you like business? Right? All of these different things come down to getting super clear on who am I, why am I here, and what am I going to do about it. Now, if you'll take the time to begin to get clear with a pad and a pen or an iPad or whatever tool you want to use, if you'll do that and you'll do it right, then inevitably what will happen is you'll get something called direction. Most people stay stuck, just as I did, because they have a lack of direction. Now, that lack of direction is also predicated on the lack of understanding. Most people stay stuck, again, like I used to, because we don't have enough understanding of how to actually gain that direction, which is why the first habit is always to get clear. Now it comes down to habit number 2, which is intentional focus. You've got to get focused on the priorities that actually get you the most lift. Far too many times, people are spending way too much time focused on things that are not really going to help them. They're sitting over here and they're focused on their social media platform rather than being focused on actually becoming financially stable, or having healthy boundaries in relationships, or not having clear understanding of what your profession might be, right? If you're going to get traction and you're going to get momentum, then you are going to have to get focused on what matters most. All right? Habit number 1, get clear. Habit number 2, get focused. Now, before we move on to the next habit, I will be honored if you take the time to consider subscribing to the channel. Here's why. I put out regular content here to help you master every single area of your life. Now, my content is a little bit different. My content is not based on theology and philosophical natures. My content is based on my experience of how I've gone from nothing to the place I'm sitting here today to help you. And I'm convinced that I am not any more special than you are. In fact, like my good mentor used to say, the only difference between success and failure is the way you think. Now, if I can help you understand how to change the way you think, then we can also change the way you perform. All right, so do me a favor, smash the bell icon, hit the subscribe button, and back into the habits. Now, habit number 3 is an important one. Habit number 3 cost me a solid 5 years of progress. Yes, 5 years of progress. Habit number 3 is remove distractions. Why? Because if you're distracted, you can't be focused, right? It's one thing to set out your priorities. It's one thing to focus, right? But it's another thing to eliminate the distractions that are going to constantly try to eliminate your focus or disrupt your focus. If you have distractions, you will not actually be able to make consistent progress. And let's face it, nobody wants to not make consistent progress. Our entire lives are predicated on happiness that's generated by making progress, right? So list out the things that are distracting you, right? I will be honest with you, totally honest with you. When I was in my early 20s, I loved girls and I loved games. So I spent all my time on a PlayStation or hanging out with girls. Problem was that didn't increase my financial fortitude. It didn't tell me how to develop great relationships. It didn't give me any indication of the career that I was designed to have. It didn't give me any indications of the type of mentors and the type of frameworks that I needed to move forward because my focus was off, right? My focus was off because I was constantly being distracted. The worst thing you can do every single day is to spend more time on your phone scrolling than you do on improving your overall life on a regular basis. I hope you understand that. You've got to eliminate distractions. All right, habit number 4. Now, I've had the sincere honor of working with everything from professional athletes to CEOs and C-suite professionals, right? I've also had the great honor of knowing people who are simply just trying to get by and get started. Hardworking folks, right? That just don't know any better. The people that I used to be, right? Here's the thing. Habit number 4 is an important one because so much of that is going to be up here. It's going to be up here, and that is deciding. Your habit number 4 is simply deciding 3 things. You're worth it, it matters, and you're willing to put in the effort. And what I mean by that is a decision means everything else before the decision, right, is irrelevant, and everything after the decision permanently changes. You may change the way you get up in the morning. You may change the boundaries that you set with people. You may change the way in which you begin to interact and use or abuse your money, right? A decision is I'm giving it all I've got kind of moment. All I've got, where you never look back, never again. But you've got to get to that place. I've seen far too many people that I've worked with go through this process of getting the framework, getting clear, getting direction, setting a priority, and then absolutely do nothing. Right? And it's not the action they're not taking just yet, it's the decision to take the action. That's what's holding them back. That's what's holding them back. It's the decision. You have to decide that enough is enough and I'm not going to stop. Hence, becoming unstoppable. And you can do this. All right, habit number 5, start small. So much of life, so much of business, so much of profession, so much of relationships is the impatience of wanting to get it all right now. Most people who are feeling depressed and anxiety-ridden and overwhelmed on a regular basis, even frustrated, are spending far too much of their time comparing themselves to other people, not realizing that person may be 5 years ahead of sacrifice. There's already a price that's been paid. And if you'll pay the same price, you'll have the same results. That's the trick. You've got to start small. You've got to respect the small beginning. It's not that you can't win, right, because you're not getting immediate results. Here's the thing. A good buddy of mine, I like to tell him all the time to do the push-ups. Check this out. If you never do the first push-up, you're never going to be able to do 100 push-ups. You build your life like you build muscle, with exercise, with consistency of performance and a consistent routine. That's where things actually get stronger for you. So ask yourself, are you building the mental push-ups? Are you building the emotional push-ups? Are you building the actual tactical push-ups? What are you doing on a consistent basis to help you consistently get progress? And you've got to start where you start, period. And you can't despise it. You can't be ashamed of it. You can't be guilt-ridden over it. All of these different things you've got to do now, and you've got to do them for your benefit. You see what I'm saying? Be willing to start small. I started my first company while I was sleeping in a car. Don't tell me you can't do this. I know you can. All you've got to do is try over and over and over again. And when you want to quit, you don't. You just keep going. Keep going, baby. You got this. All right. Now, in order to help you kind of get on with your life and kind of get started and begin to follow these habits, I want you to take the time to look in the description below and actually check out a free ebook that I wrote. It's called The 5 Principles for a Personal Breakthrough. What I did was I spent about an hour of my time brainstorming on each of the main areas, and then I organized them in such a way that allows them to build off of each other, okay? I'm hoping that will actually give you clarity, direction, okay, and consistency of progress, meaning you're gonna have at least an entry-level framework to finally get going. So make sure you check out the description below and actually take advantage of the free ebook, 5 Principles for Personal Breakthrough. All right, moving on to habit number 6. All right, habit number 6. You have to create a habit of getting mentorship on a regular basis. Now, if you haven't taken the time to do so, I did an entire lesson on the mentorship matrix, which is 4 key areas that you can get mentorship in, including like a digital mentor or historical mentor in case you don't have access to someone who is more one-to-one, okay? Mentorship teaches you new things. It also holds you accountable to new things, all right? So if you come to me and you say, I want to build a bigger chest, and I'm saying, all right, well, you got to do the push-ups. And you're like, well, I don't know how to do push-ups. A mentor is going to take time to say, straighten your back, put all the weight on your forearms. Now go all the way down and put your chest to the floor and then push all the way back up. The mentor will also say, do it like this, and we'll probably get down and actually show you how to do it, okay? It doesn't matter what area of life you need to focus on, or business for that matter. A mentor is going to help you see it a new way, most likely illustrate it in a new way, and then hold you accountable to that new way. So that's number 6, right? Now, number 7 is where you round it all up. You put it all together, right? You've gotten clear, you've gotten direction, you've started small, you're getting the mentors, right? You're doing all the little things that do add up, right? Now you have to re-emphasize or actually put a foundation behind all of these different parts and pieces by habit number 7. Habit number 7 is very simply, you got to implement a routine. Why is that important? It's because on Friday, you make this decision on Friday. All of a sudden you go through all these different parts and pieces. You're getting the mentorship, you're starting small, you're doing all these different things. Well, then you go out Saturday night and just have a great old time. Well, by Monday, you've actually disrupted yourself by that distraction thing again. You've disrupted yourself and you haven't been able to start again. With a routine, you say, I wake up at this time, I do take this action, I reflect at this time of the day, I work with people at this time of the day. You see what I'm saying? You've got to have a process that you have already pre-planned, okay? Now, I personally believe in routines that are flexible. What I mean by that is my morning is very rigid, meaning I get up at a certain time, I do a specific thing like hitting the gym or watching some YouTube or listening to some podcast, something to kind of do my mind, my heart, my spirit all at the same time. Well, then I have 15-minute blocks of time. Those 15-minute blocks, I focus on a specific item. Now, when we're doing a hard push, maybe what if I'm overlaying some brand new content, I might spend all day undistracted, literally from 8 a.m. all the way to like 1 p.m. before lunch. Okay, where I'm focused on content. My phone shut off, it's on airplane mode. I'm sending everybody to voicemail. That's how you create a system of behavior. And before long, you go from doing 1 push-up to doing 100 push-ups. That's how you do it. You see what I'm saying? You've got to have the habit of a routine-based living built in with the flexibility to allow you to pivot if need be, right? Because once you measure something, you can adjust it. Is it successful? Is it not? Maybe I need to tweak something. Until you put the routine in place, you have nothing to tweak. You get me? All right, good. Now, bonus habit number 8. Yes, I like to give bonuses, and that's called build momentum. You build momentum with the little wins. Here's what I mean. When I started my first business, right, I didn't have all the assets, all the people, all the things that I thought that I would need to actually create a business, right? I just kept building. And little by little, I would earn a new customer. I would buy some new equipment. I may buy a new work van, or I may, you see what I'm saying? It was little by little by little by little by little. What I didn't realize at the time was I was creating consistent momentum. Consistent momentum. Because each little win gave me more confidence to try something new, something a little more riskier for me, right? I couldn't understand how to manage $100 million until I could understand how to manage $1,000. It's the same concept with relationships, with occupations, with your finance, same principle here. You build off of little wins, and as you build off of little wins, you also develop self-confidence. And lo and behold, you won't need people like me telling you that you can do it, because you'll already know it, you've already done it. And every time you've already done it, now you know you can do it again in a different phase. You got this. All right. Now that you've got a better understanding of each of those 8 habits, yes, I gave you a bonus one because I love you and I want to see you succeed. I also want to come alongside of you and coach you along in the process. Now, As you can imagine, running multiple businesses has its great strengths and downfalls, one of those being my time. So I get a lot of requests in helping people who want to be coached personally by myself. I'm happy to help you, and I'm happy to try to work that out. So my team and I came up with a really cool idea that we think will actually really work. And that is once a week, starting in November of 2020, we are going to start an Instagram Live, right? Where I'm going to pull in one person at a time, and we're going to work on something that you're working on specifically with your life mastery questions and things of that nature, all right? Now, I'm going to put a link in the description so you can register for that, and then you and I can work one-on-one together. I don't know if you've realized this by now, but your success is incredibly important to me, and I want to do whatever it takes to get you the content you need to actually get the breakthrough that you've been looking for. So here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to check out this whiteboard lesson right here, because this lesson will actually begin to help you break things down a little more. Also, always, because I want to connect with you more often, I'd love for you to check it out, subscribe right here, and continue to following the process that will actually transform your life.